What is it that sets the great lyrics apart from the average ones? Is it the clarity of the song's message, or the rich images they create in the mind? Or is it the strength of the stories they tell? One thing's for sure, there's more than one way to write a great lyric. And as songwriters, if we don't understand what the different styles are, then we could be missing out on connecting as powerfully or with as many different types of people as we should be. I realised that in hundreds of songs I'd boxed myself into mainly one style of lyric writing, and in doing so become slightly one-dimensional, so I knew it was time for a change. Because to become great songwriters, we want many ways to deliver our message, connect with a listener, write songs people love, and keep the fire of creativity burning. So it's easy to write words on a page, but it's much more difficult to write words and lyrics that actually connect. So to help strengthen and expand your lyrical skills, we're going to look at how lyrics fall into three broad categories, and they all have unique advantages. And you can see which one your natural style falls into and which ones you could look to strengthen, so you've got more options when you're writing your lyrics. And you'll see how each of these different types of lyric writing teaches different ways of how to connect with the listener. And they cover areas like the logical mind, the power of narrative, engaging the imagination, letting them fill in the gaps, creating an emotional connection, and the different preferences of listeners. There'll be some action steps for each one, and then I'm going to personally issue everybody, including myself, a songwriting challenge. So style one, this abstract style, leans heavily into feelings and sentiment and lets the listener do the creative work for themselves by really engaging their imagination. Kurt Cobain often used this style, including in Smells Like Teen Spirit, the hit that always seems to fall in the top 10 greatest songs of all time. Load up on guns, bring your friends. It's fun to lose and to pretend. She's overboard and self-assured. Oh, I know a dirty word. With the lights out, it's less dangerous. Here we are now, entertainers. I feel stupid and contagious. Here we are now, entertainers. So fascinating, thought-provoking, descriptive lines, but what do they mean? Well, we can only guess, because the message is delivered through the abstract and seems to say something profound, while arguably at the same time saying nothing at all. And the great thing about this style is it's easy to come up with song concepts because you can rely on the stream of consciousness style of writing where you just write whatever comes through without overthinking it. And this is my natural style really, and I like it because you can use the disjointed fragments of lyrics from different places in terms of what they're describing and bring them together to make them seem related and create a cohesive whole for the listener to then define for themselves. But you can also maintain your own personal definition for what the lyrics mean to you. This abstract class has an advantage because the meanings aren't obvious. In the same way we might interpret a crying child or an angry man shouting something unintelligible, the words connect inside an instinctual side of our nature that cause our brains to find meaning somewhere else. And in relation to a song, it's the energy and the emotion of the music and the singer's voice, which then combined with how we feel about it, causes us to write the story for ourselves. This style can give the listener a very strong connection to the song because they get to decide on its meaning. This next one is the literal style of lyrics, and that leans towards being more direct and conversational and straight to the point, with no flowery language particularly or cryptic sentences that would obstruct the meaning of the lyrics. This Dolly Parton song was featured in the Rolling Stones top 100 songs of all time, The Coat of Many Colours, and I think it sums up the style nicely. Back through the years I go wandering once again, back to the seasons of my youth. I recall a box of rags that someone gave to us and how my mama put the rags to use. My coat of many colours that my mama made for me, made only from rags, but I wore it so proudly. Although we had no money, well, I was rich as I could be, in my coat of many colours that my mama made for me. This style is powerful because of the conversational language used, like the spoken word between one person to another. It can create a very simple but heartfelt message. The words don't have a complex, poetic nature, but instead just rely on simple, relatable sentences. But their power lies in their authentic nature, and the one thing this style really does achieve well is making you as a writer relatable to your audience and reminds them that you're a real person with problems and feelings just like they are. As they relate to the words, you become a representation of them, singing their thoughts and feelings out into the world. For action steps, the great thing about these lyrics is they're easy to write because all you've got to do is write what's on your mind, like you'd speak to a friend, and then just try to make it rhyme. There's no need to be clever or complicated. In fact, Doing so could alienate the listener who prefers that literal style of songwriting. And this style has an advantage because literal lyrics that are more descriptive and narrative driven engage the logical mind and allow the listener to visualise a story unfolding in their minds without the ambiguity about the meaning of the lyrics. This allows them to relate to the song in a way that feels right because they understand the true meaning that was intended by the writer, so they can connect with the song in an authentic way. The same way our brains are wired for the oral traditions of passing down wisdom through stories, the literal style of writing lyrics has the power to connect with the storytelling aspect of our listener's mind and have them create strong visual images that run alongside the lyrics. And when you add that to the music, you have the components of an even greater song. So the hybrid style borrows from both of the other two, and in doing so combines opposites and brings about a very balanced lyrical style. It has some poetry and some narrative where some parts are clear and then some parts are open to interpretation. The Bee Gees song Staying Alive used the hybrid style, also usually appearing in the top songs of all time list. Everybody knows the sing-along's chorus, but perhaps not what the song was actually about. Well, now I get low and I get high, and when I can't get either, I really try. Got wings of heaven on my shoes, I'm a dancing man and I just can't lose. You know it's alright, it's okay, I'll live to see another day. We can try to understand New York Times effect on man. Whether you're a brother or whether you're a mother, you're staying alive, staying alive. Feel a city breaking and everybody shaking and you're staying alive, staying alive. The lyrics paint pictures in our mind with loose meanings that, taken as a whole, do actually give a strong theme to the overall idea of what the song is about. Like, life involves chaos, everybody's fighting to survive, especially in the US city they live in. But since there's some poetic license in effect, it creates an interpretation gap that gives us an opportunity to fill in the blanks for ourselves and use our imaginations to create a more complete meaning for the song. Or you can just not think about it, sing the Staying Alive bit and just have a bit of a boogie. And for 90% of people listening to that song, it's that hook that grabs them and the rest of the lyrics don't matter. So for action steps, to achieve this style, you want to have some parts of the song, probably the chorus, even if it has deeper meanings, to say something anyone can sing and understand. And then the story of the song can be expressed using poetic language that gives enough information to give a loose narrative away, but not everything, so they can create a meaning of their own. Then the story of the song can be expressed using poetic language that gives enough information to give a loose narrative away, but not everything, so they can create some meaning of their own. This is probably the most common style and also probably the hardest to write in, but its advantages are it's the easiest one for people to relate to because it connects on more levels. It has the immediacy of the literal approach and it has enough ambiguity to exercise the imagination. The lyrics we do understand give us a visual and a literal sense of the song, and the abstract, more obscure lyrics keep us guessing, so we get a nice middle ground here with this type of lyric. So the song challenge is to write a new song and then write 3 sets of lyrics that encompass all 3 of these styles to exercise your lyric writing muscles, and you can see which one you think translates the meaning of the song the best.